Hey guys, welcome back to my channel for an all new episode recap of today's Days of Our Lives, December 1st, 2025. We are in a new month and the end of the year. The time has definitely flown, and yet again, we're still on day 4 of Thanksgiving, just like day 4 of the Thanksgiving leftovers. Hopefully, y'all finish your leftovers from now because, like, it's too much now. But anyways, Holly, Sarah, and Maggie are having Thanksgiving together. They're overly doting on Sarah because she's just recovering from that allergic reaction. She's out of the hospital now, and Sarah insists that she's fine, no need to worry about her. She's just, thankful to be there in time for Thanksgiving and eat, right? So they're there wondering, like, how could she have gotten this reaction? Because Roman is normally thorough, and, you know, how could it happen? So she says there's no need to get into it because she doesn't want to tell him that it's the ratio that's behind it, right? So they catch up on a lot of things. Holly's catching up them up to date with what's going on with her, and getting on a roll, and figuring out what career field she want to go into, whether it's a physician or something else. She tells them that she got an internship with Stephanie, so she's managing her social media. She also tells them about her and Tate wrapping up this documentary in time for Thanksgiving. They did a Friendsgiving and it was pumpkin related, and it went well regardless. They talked about Maggie and how, maybe she could go back to school according to Holly, but, they see how she is and how, she went from the farm to the corporate world and how she's a, badass in terms of that. Um, at some point, Holly goes to check on the food, and Maggie and Sarah talk, and they talk about Xander, of course. And Sarah was saying how Xander was stopped by the hospital room, check on her, and she told him that she wants boundaries, and he respected it and leave. And of course, they are surprised that he's not reacting how he normally is, aggressive and all that. So Maggie's saying maybe he's growing up, and she said, did Xander come by to check in on Victoria, to see how I'm doing? And she said no. And I'm saying, this is what I don't like about Sarah. She's very narcissistic and feel like the world revolve around her. And I'm glad Xander doesn't cave into anything and that. He gives her what exactly she wants, and that she will definitely miss it at some point and it will be too late. And that's what I'm really hoping, right? She does tell Maggie that, look, things that was said earlier, it was intentional. Of course, Maggie assumed quickly it was Xander, and Sarah said, no, he would never hurt me despite his ways. He would never physically hurt me. It was somebody else, but I can't really tell you right now. It's on the wraps, and it was intentional, right? Now, EJ is there with a lot of things on his mind, including his plans with the lab and, his siblings being missing, and, of course, his own personal drama with Johnny. So a lot is on his mind. So Gwen is like, having any plans for Thanksgiving? He said he didn't really celebrate it on, other than him. And when he was married to Sammy and the kids, they would make a fuss of it. But he, no, normally not. So he gets a call from Julie, and Julie's trying to find out where Chad is because she gets a text message from him that, upon them inviting him over to the Horton house for Thanksgiving, he didn't show up, and he said he just seen a message. But when she tried to call him, text him, no response if he has seen him. So he said no, but I'll let you know. So he tells Gwen about it, that Chad is MIA and he doesn't know where he could be. He's not at the house, and it's really suspicious, right? They don't know what could have happened, and then he has a court hearing the next day. And Gwen is just upset that despite her feelings towards Chad, she knows he's a great father, and she's unbiased with that. And she is just saying that it's just cruel what Jennifer is doing to take the kids away from Chad because of a personal decision, and it's just wrong of them, right? So EJ agrees as well, and I'm just saying, hopefully it turns around and that this custody hearing just goes out the window, because honestly what Jennifer is doing is just messed up. And I would love for somebody else to just tell her like it is, because honestly she has too much yes people around, especially that husband of hers that really has no moral ground to stand on, talking about taking away custody from people, and taking custody away from children. Chad, I'm so upset that I'm mixing up my words. Taking custody away from Chad when he's no noble father himself. He has done so much, disgusting, despicable things towards others, right? But anyways, Gwen does go into square because again she's alone. EJ has some plans because Theo called them to consult on a agreement for the mirror business. So she's alone. She doesn't know what she's gonna be up to. So she goes to square. Xander as well doesn't have nothing doing. He's drinking himself to a stupor because he's upset yet again about things not working out with Sarah. And, he's reminiscing about last year's Thanksgiving with her. And, he drinks and then he has a massive headache. Comes for some black coffee. It's not helping. He looks miserable. And Gwen said, hey, I know the right remedy, right? So she brings him to the mirror place and she makes him an English breakfast. And, he's kind of surprised by it and he's hesitant to try it because he's wondering if it's poison or not. He tries hers and she tries him to show him that she didn't do nothing like that. It's sincere. So she's saying, you want to tell me why you drunk yourself to a stupor, like what happened? So he tells her briefly what's going on, that him and Sarah are divorced and he doesn't know if he's gonna have visitation rights to his daughter. So it's a lot going on, and that she's finding comfort in Brady's arms, and that's rubbing him the wrong way. And Gwen understands that. He also thanks her at some point, for just the breakfast, just company, and also, what's the reason behind it. So she said, I have no intentions behind it. I'm just trying to be a good friend. And, overall, he appreciates it, right? And I'm just hoping that, hopefully, I would love for them to get back together because Gwen gets Xander for who he is. And, I like their chemistry. I'm one of them few people that like their chemistry. Honestly, he needs to forget Sarah, honestly. Now, remember I said that Theo consulted EJ on an agreement because he's getting nowhere, he's getting overwhelmed, and Tony is MIA, so he needed EJ's help, to just read through the agreement, not necessarily physically do nothing else, but to, let him understand the P's and Q's of it. So he thanks him for his help, but he normally wanted to just do it on his own because he is the figurehead of the Mera Enterprises and he wants to be able to do things on his own. And, EJ understands that and he knows that he's well and capable to go handle business and, actually running the business himself. That's why Tony chose him. So, anyways, you know, Theo says that he's been dodging text messages from his dad about coming over for Thanksgiving, and it is baby Tesaro or, Trey's first Thanksgiving. And of course, EJ is upset about that or feel a type of way about it because he's not a part of that celebration. And, he's telling Theo that he doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving, but Theo still wishes him happy Thanksgiving and likewise, and he wants to go ahead to it, right? EJ at some point is at the lab and he's talking to whoever is in that green tube of his. And he said that, he's long awaiting the person. So we are assuming it's Stefano based on that, sound effect in the background that they always use when the Phoenix is around, but could be somebody else. But let's see. Now it's Thanksgiving over at Chanel's and Johnny's, and they're having Paulina and Abe are there as well because they just want to have it contained and it's the baby's first Thanksgiving and it's better if they come over, right? So again, Chanel and Johnny are appreciative of Paulina, hosting them and just preparing the meal there, right? So they just start talking about a variety of things, meaning how they're handling their parenting for the first time. And they asked Johnny if he's gonna continue doing the double jobs considering now that he's a father, and he said, maybe I'll dial back given that Trey is now here and I really like teaching, film and all of that, but maybe I'll dial back. Let's see, right? They also talk about EJ and Marlena and how if EJ is behind it, Paulina is going to make sure that he pays. And I'm saying if it was somebody else, would you guys really go that hard? You and Bill, would you really go that hard? I'm not saying that it's not wrong what EJ has done, but still, would you guys have been going that hard if it wasn't EJ? So, anyways, Johnny's not surprised that Paulina going this hard because again, EJ has upset him many times, so he's not surprised. Trying to remember, they also talked about Theo not showing up on time, and at some point he did show up and he apologized because he's doing business. It's 12 o'clock somewhere else, so he's doing business. Not every other country do Thanksgiving like here, but still Abe is glad that he's home, and he said that he had to consult with EJ about something. Paulina was surprised, but he just said, Abe said, he didn't feel surprised or angry about it. We already know he was speaking to EJ about taking Theo out of the Mirror Enterprise, so maybe this is all the plan that is put in motion for that to happen. Now he goes away for a bit, and Paulina tells Abe how proud she is of him for how he reacted, because she wouldn't have reacted that way, especially when it comes down to EJ being involved. And she just tells him that she's proud of him. Again, we know that Abe is doing some shady stuff behind his son's back, and this is gonna blow over. This is gonna blow out, right? There was some point in the conversation that Paulina asked what's going on with Abe's mentee, Liam, and he tells her, Chanel and Johnny, that Liam actually almost tried to steal Kat's purse, and him and Kat decided not to rat him out and said that this is his last time, and he said that he will call a parole officer if he messes up another time. And Paulina is so against it, but again, you know what can she really do, right? She wouldn't have she's not really so forgiving, but I'm saying you're very forgiving when it comes down to your people, and Chanel especially. They did FaceTime Lonnie, Eli, and the twins, here and there stuff, basic conversation on Thanksgiving. But yeah, that was really it. Like, comment below anything I've missed. Let me know what you think about today's episode. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys tomorrow.